Hi everyone, it's Mel. I hope you're having a good day, and today I am going to talk about my original characters. I've been working a lot on them recently. I wanted at least 5 minutes to talk about each of them, but since there are like 6 main ones, I can't do a 30 minutes long video, so I am gonna cut it in 2 videos. The first one with Dakota, Leighton, and Alistair, and the second one with Hazel, Gabriel, and Oxford. I am gonna start with Dakota's birthday because it became pretty important in my story. I've been kind of trying to rewrite it and to make it a little more serious. She was born on the 24th of November 2000. So she is a Sagittarius, and in my story now, signs are going to be very important because technically the society forces people to behave the way their signs, the astrological sign, is supposed to behave. Everyone is raised to act this way, so it's not completely dystopic, it's just how people are raised to be. And Sagittarius are supposed to be, I am just googling it right now, optimistic and freedom-loving. That is exactly how she is. Jovial and good-humored, honest and straightforward, intellectual and philosophical. I don't really know about the last 2 ones, but the first ones, it's exactly this. Dakota's got a lot of energy. She likes going with her friends. She likes sports. She's very happy or trying to be optimistic all the time. And flaws that come with the Sagittarius sign are blindly optimistic and careless, irresponsible and superficial, tactless and restless. It's pretty much the idea, I think. Maybe not superficial, actually. I think that with all the friends she's got, she would probably have learned to see beyond appearances, but I think it's a pretty good summary of who Dakota is. And actually, for some of the characters, I chose their signs according to the personalities that I had pictured them to have. But Dakota, I already knew her birth date and I looked it up and it matched perfectly, so it was rather funny to see this. When it comes to her clothes, because this is what I've been working on recently, redesigning them and especially their clothes, at least their real life clothes, I wanted to go more for like old school vibe. I don't know if it's the 80s or the 90s. It depends on the country you live in, honestly, because what would be 80s fashion in the United States would be 90s fashion in Europe, because we're kind of late to the party sometimes. But I really like the idea of the kind of street girl, but not like street drug streets. More streets like skateboards, with like cool Doc Martens, a Vans t-shirt, and this sort of like long sleeves under a short sleeves t-shirt. I don't know, I just like the vibe and the pink hair. I think Dakota would be the kind of girl who would color her hair because it's really fun. Her color at first was red, but I wanted to give this color to another character, and honestly I think pink is even more energetic and it doesn't have this kind of ominous feeling to it. Dakota is just full of energy and optimistic, even though obviously, as I said, people are raised to act like their signs, but it goes deeper. I don't know about you, but I do not really believe in astrology. I really don't know how the month you were born in can like have any impact on your personality, except as I'm saying in my story, society is built this way, but in our society I just don't believe it. It's the same in their society, right? Even though they're raised to be like their sign, they actually aren't like their signs. It's deeper than that, and some of them are truly unhappy because they are forced to be someone they're not. Dakota, even though she's more complex than just a cheerful girl, is one of the people who's the closer to a sign like at heart, I think. She's actually my oldest OC. Well, honestly, it wasn't her. The first OC I actually started trying to create a story for and thinking about as an original character, right? Her name was Crystal and she didn't look anything like Dakota, but I still think they're the same person because it's just the idea of my first female OC with a very strong personality. I just think it fits. So yeah, Dakota, oldest OC, which actually is not a good thing for her because when I created her, I was really young. Well, okay, not really young, but I was super bad at designing characters and stories. Honestly, I still am, but I'm less of a beginner. So a lot of her personality traits were decided when I was not good at figuring these things out. So you might tell me, just change these now that you are better. But she's been around for such a long time that she almost feels like a real person to me, right? So changing something feels like, you can't change somebody's personality trait out of the blue because you don't like it anymore, right? It's a person. It's the same thing with Dakota. She's such a real person to me that changing anything feels weird. I recently redesigned her hair, and honestly, I'm still kind of weirded out by that. Now he is my main character. Was supposed to be Dakota at first, but then I figured I liked guys and I prefer talking about guys and imagining guys. Now I'm not so proud of that picture. I don't really like what it looks like. Yeah, he's not well drawn here, but you'll have to trust me when I say that he's cute. Anyway, he's the kind of emo boy. Now his birth date is, oh god, I forgot, 26th of June, I think. I came up with some of the dates really recently and I didn't think to write them anywhere near me because I'm an idiot. He is a Cancer. Actually, he's the one that I had to change the birth date to fit the sign because at first I think it was born in February or something like this, but I had to change him because Cancer is just exactly him. Cancers are supposed to be emotional and loving, intuitive, imaginative, and cautious, protective, and sympathetic. Honestly, the emotional, loving, imaginative, he is a musician. He is just asking for people to love him and to be loved, but he just doesn't seem to find anyone who will fit his personality and who would be happy with him. I think the intuitive and imaginative, god damn, I can't say this word, I'm so sorry. He basically works a lot with his feelings. He's not dumb or anything, he's actually quite bright, but things happened in his life that made him want to rely more on his intuition than his brain because it has betrayed him before. The main thing for him, I think, is emotional. The tiniest thing can bring him mood swings, like really. It's actually in the flaws of Cancers, changeable and moody. Exactly, he goes through very deep, severe depression phases, and sometimes he's just the happiest person and he feels peaceful and at a bliss. This can happen in a snap of the fingers, clinging and unable to let go. Now, Leitner has only very few friends, like really few, basically Dakota and Alistair. So let me tell you that he will not let them go at any cost. Leitner is a lot like me. He's almost as old as Dakota, I think, at least as we know her. But somehow his development is much better because I didn't have to imagine Leitner's personality because Leitner's basically me. He wasn't supposed to be at first, but he ended up being me. Really, if Dakota is traits that I would like to have, Leitner is who I am for the qualities, but especially for the flaws. Not sure it's great for him, but he's going to have a very nice evolution and he's going to be happy in the end. So this is all I'm wishing for him and for me. When it comes to the clothes, I wanted kind of an emo Panic at the Disco vibe. When the emo thing happened, I was too young to be into it, and honestly, if I had been, my parents would have probably not allowed me to dye my hair and wear makeup and make piercings, so I just missed my emo phase, I guess. But Leitner didn't. Leitner is living it. I didn't go too far away because he's kind of shy and he wouldn't be too extra about it. He wouldn't want to get noticed. But I still think, the ripped jeans with chains, the red Converses, like the Converses are a very, as I said, Panic at the Disco thing. It's also a tiny reference to Doctor Who. He's kind of a nerd, right? Like a nerdy emo. And I don't know why, I really like these kind of t-shirts, like the ones with the sleeves of different color. He used to have shorter hair, but I made them longer. Look a little bit careless when it comes to his appearance, and in depression, sometimes you just don't even have the energy to get out of bed and to take care of yourself because you hate yourself. You don't want to have anything to do with your own body. And this is kind of what I wanted to do with him because I love him, but he's a sad character, really. I'm not sure he's gonna end well. God, the mood really came down. Anyway, let's go with Alice and bring the mood back up because that guy is the sweetest guy you will ever see. His birthday, honestly, I think it's the 29th of September. Anyway, he's a Virgo. So what are the qualities and flaws of Virgos? They are modest and shy, meticulous and reliable, practical and diligent, intelligent and analytical. Shy? No, he's not shy. He's probably modest. He is the school guy. I said Dakota is who I like to be. Leitner is who I am, or at least the flaws I've got. He is school, basically. Now that might sound a weird trait to put into a character, but school is the major part of my life. I still don't have a job, so most part of my life was spent in school. My studies are kind of difficult studies. I've probably talked about it too much. If you're bored, that's possible. But basically, it's my life. I spend my time studying and thinking about school, and it's the reason of all my problems, but also my moments of happiness. I'm happy when I don't have class, and I'm stressed out and depressed because of class. Everything in my life is pretty much a consequence of my studies, and I'm not even exaggerating. So he's that kind of guy. He's gonna evolve, but the core idea is this. So obviously it makes him full of discipline and a very nice person who's trying to help the others so that they won't have the same difficulty he does, but he's someone who struggles a lot. His self-esteem is not always the best. He's obviously overworked and he feels like he's trapped and cannot escape it. And the flaws are fussy and worrier. Fussy, no, but he is a worrier. Overcritical and harsh, especially on himself, obviously. Onto the others as well, because I want these OCs to have actual flaws, but it's mostly to himself. Perfectionist and conservative. Perfectionist, definitely. Conservative, it's not what you might think. It's more like he regrets the way things were. His life is a constant regret. He's basically sad and overworked and exhausted, and he thinks it's gonna get better later. And when he gets to that later point, he thinks, oh, well, in the end, it was much better before. I shouldn't have complained. And his life is like this. So he is in a constant state of it was so much better before, because the more he ages, the more responsibility he has, the more work he gets, and the worse things get. Fortunately for him, things are going to be all right. I told you Leitner is a rather sad character, and things would have probably ended up pretty bad for him. They do, but not irreversibly. Alistair was supposed to be a very sad character as well. Both of them were tragic when I created them and when they were separated, because, well, Leitner was in love with Dakota, and Alistair, I kind of implied he had a girlfriend, an older one at some point. I don't know if that's gonna stay. And apart, they are very sad and tragic characters who are definitely not going to end well. But luckily for them, I started watching Thomas Sanders and get a lot more into the LGBT plus community, and my character's sexuality they changed. So they both went from impossible love heterosexual to just the guy who lives in the same flat, gay. And this is what changed everything for them. Leitner finally found the love to accept himself, and Alistair finally found an anchor in life so that he wouldn't feel so lost and stressed out and like the world was turning too quickly. So out of two tragic characters, I created anything anyone has ever needed: love and support, and just a feeling to be at the right place without having to go to extreme length to feel loved and to feel at their own place. My God, I didn't mean for this to become so emotional, but these characters, I think about them all the time. I figure out stories, I use them as a way of introspection and to understand what I want and what I feel like. And now I'm realizing that I didn't talk about his clothes. You know, the redesign was the point. He's kind of dressed like a preppy boy, kind of well dressed. I wanted him to look like kind of the nerd intellectual guy in class. So he's got a tie with a shirt and a jumper and kind of trousers colored the way that young people don't really wear. But I don't want him to be only like this. He's also got glasses. I didn't want him to look too bossy. So I gave him Vans. And his hair don't look so much, but they're like a mix between well combed and kind of messy with the the ginger curls. So yeah, I wanted them to look a tiny bit more crazy. Anyway, this has been too long and I cannot speak anymore, and I don't want to edit all the mistakes I make out. So I'm going to end the video here. Stay tuned if you want to see my 3 other OCs. I hope you have a good day or a good week, and I also hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye!